Namaste everyone. Welcome to our Interfaith dialogue. Wonderful to see everyone together again and again and again. We are continuing to travel together. We have so many special news are coming up. Our 30 days Interfaith Yoga Festival is going to start from June 1st. Indian Consul General will inaugurate the event. I tried to put some people in that event, but we have other events coming, and so some of you join in other events. And the final day will be 30th of June. The Chancellor of the Vyasa University, the number one yoga university in India, he is going to be a chief guest, and he's the right hand of the the Prime Minister of India. And two universities are going to join. One is Amity University. The president and vice president will be with us, and some other officials. And the Art and Fine Arts, another university, Chancellor will be with us, and Ambassador Chowdhury will be with us, Kitagawa, and all other leaders from UN. June 21st, we'll have the chief of the UN will be joining. So we'll change our 12 o'clock time to 10 o'clock every day. We'll do all combined together. So one day we want to have yoga and Sikhism, one subject. So try to get maximum scholars. We can use 2 hours and get things done,
Are you saying for all the Wednesdays or just this?
All days, 30 days from June 1st to 30th. Every day 10 to 12. And some days are longer. And like 5th of June, we have South American Yoga Festival. The Indian ambassador is going to speak. That is like 2 to 4 o'clock or 5, because they had to go to church in the morning. They are more into Christianity. So those days will change. Maybe we'll make an interview in the morning, And same thing with the June evening, we have an interview. 3 yoga people are going to be interviewed. And June 20th will be at the Times Square. We have big yoga program. And that day I may have to make it very short event, because I had to be there. And 21st ran by all the NGOs from the UN. That's a really UN event. And the chief of the department will speak at the event. And so other days, mix of stuff and different subjects we supply. And last Friday, I was at the UN, speak for the Well community. I'm not telling you what happened there, but at least Well community got more recognition at the UN. The final paper I'm waiting to get, then we'll announce what happened there. So these are the good news coming up.
Good.
And we are the only yoga organization open to all the religious and the cultural groups. We can proudly say women are treated as equally in our events.
But
Proud of it,
Yes.
So let us see. Things are coming up. I'm going to make one day for arts and yoga. Some are music and yoga. So we'll have a bhajan, That's also coming up. That'll be fun,
How about poetry?
Yeah, we can have. We'll mix it, Music, dance. I have an array of dancers and film people in my team. So that I'll put here and there. That will be nice.
I hope the Japanese group can join in Mori.
Because we got acknowledgement
Very good.
from the house that our message is already
Good.
reached to the government. Same thing with the India government too.
Beautiful.
And all the people know what will happen. At least my request is June 21st should be recognized as a yoga day in America. That is my request.
June 21st.
It's already UN recognized, but not American government. I hope,
Summer solstice.
Correct. So yoga became a universal you know. So I was talking to Gabriel when we prepared the talk, you know. We made it without any dogma, you know. We made it open, very open. Less than 300 words we put in the talk, you know.
Mhm.
And I had to change a little bit at the meeting at the UN.
Mhm.
But it's fine. Today is Happy Buddha Purnima, Vaishak Day, okay. Special day at the UN.
Hmm.
But I didn't see Nakagage. I think they have other events going on. You know. Yesterday, one of the group from the UN asked me to send a flyer. They send me late night, so I cannot put all the posts at a time. You know.
Mhm.
Personal page is fine. Other ones, I need other people to post it. Otherwise, too much to post from one person. You know. So those who want to be a moderator, I'll allow you as a moderator. But only thing you have to check other posts. Are they good for our people? And we don't want too many posts from same person. You know,
Mhm.
one post from one person per day. That's fine. Otherwise, nothing will happen. Nobody is going to read. You know.
Right.
So give a little bit, make sure they get the knowledge instead of putting everything together. You know? So that we had to work on it. So, Pete, any news about African event?
Yeah, there are actually. Quick question for you. On the 20th in Times Square, will there be anything up on any of the screens?
I didn't get enough information. I'm in touch with the council. So
Okay, let me know on it.
they
I did speak to a couple people, and there are certain African yoga events that happen up in the Bronx for sure. So I've reached out to that person. There's a weekly African yoga event at Croatoan Park or Croatoa Park or something like that. And so I have a couple queries out to find people who are actually engaged in the diaspora community. And hopefully that will lead to some connections in Africa as well. And I can get you a couple potential dates in the coming weeks.
So we may have to choose a date only for that event. So if you are not giving a date, nothing will happen because this is filling up, you know, 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll prefer if we can do on 19th. That's a Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. African Yoga Festival. So I'll set it up. I'll put our Queen Mother, Remy, and all of the people in that event. You know. So already we have African community there. Then we'll connect other people. So if we have
That's also the celebration day of Juneteenth, which is an African American diaspora celebration day also.
Okay, that's good. So we'll focus on that part.
Okay.
That way, 5th South American Festival, 12th Asian Yoga Festival, and 19th African Yoga Festival, and 13 European Yoga Festival. And we are going to make separate 26 for North American Yoga Festival. Then all together on 30th, Well Yoga Festival. So 30 days, gala celebration and the award ceremony that day. So that way it will show very well. So we had to make sure all the religious leaders are supposed to get importance in total events, not only one event, total events. We had to cover maximum. Our team should be in different times. When we interview people, we need at least 4 or 5 people in the meeting to ask questions. That is good for us and good for others too. Those speakers, they bring wider range of dialogues, you know. And that will build up our group, you know. So it should be cross helping movement. So let us see. So who is going to speak first?
Let me start with, since we are celebrating the Buddha,
Purnima.
Buddha, which is kind of beautiful that he's being born in a royal family in Nepal, and then receiving his enlightenment after a lot of struggles, at Gaya, right? It's a Gaya. That's where the Bodhi tree, under the tree, when it says I'm awake, and its impact on a lot of people. And now, as far as India is concerned, during the time of Ashoka, that's when the Battle of Kalinga, which really that causes so much destruction and so much damage, and Ashoka really adopts then the Buddhist religion and works towards spreading it all over. And we also have a Kalinga Prize in India, which is awarded every so often to different people with a lot of discoveries. And even on our flag, which we have those picture of 3 lions, which is kind of reminds of Ashoka pillars and all that. So Guruji, you tell us a little bit more about it. I just know that much.
Yeah, Buddha born in Lumbini, that is in Nepal, but he left his body in India. So
Yeah.
those days, India was not there as it is. So nobody can claim where he born, where he died. That's the way it is. So of course, Nepal can claim, because those days they had the kingdom as it is, not like India. India was a piece of the kingdoms, But everybody can claim Buddha is our person. Buddha is not for one country, for everybody. When I look at Buddha's life changes, so interesting. I always used to ask my mom, why Buddha left the family? It's very interesting. The king's family, they want to avoid Buddha seeing sadness of people, and they already know Buddha is going to leave the house. So they tried to hide him somehow. He saw the difficult part of families. Then he left the kingdom and go for meditation, and he reached the Samadhi state. So that will show an example. Doesn't matter where we born or where we live or which family, what we earn, learn. We born as a single being, even though we all are connected. A single soul. So soul has to go through an experience and reach the higher state, and it may change other soul's energy. That's the way it is. All the people cannot get that status because they should have that energy connection with the universe. Because we come with a different experience in our life, and we have different thoughts or the recordings in our soul, and all the future life will go according to that. Karma, that is karma philosophy, right? So that is one example when you look at him or Shankaracharya, they're all born in a particular time according to astrology, and already announced that they are going to do something like this. And a lot of time we won't acknowledge, oh, he's going to be like a big body, in the spirituality. We make fun of them, but it automatically change. And now we can understand Buddha did a good work. No other religion promoted meditation like Buddhism. Yogis had this experience, but we always say Buddhism is the ultimate state of Hinduism. That's the way it is. Like the Christianity came from Judaism. That's the ultimate state of Judaism. Christianity became ultimate state of Judaism. That's the way it is. So when you look at any religious teachings, we may have the dogma or rituals. We stuck with the rituals and we won't go beyond the limit. So we have to go beyond the limit. That's where yogis stay away from all of these dramas. They sit in somewhere and they connect with the universe. So they don't need food, they don't need air, they are in the different state. And people complain, oh, they are just sitting and doing. They won't care, That's a different state. So we don't have to blame anybody, Those who want to go to that state, fine. Or if you are living in the world with a regular life, how we can balance ourselves. That's the only thing we had to think about it. So somebody was asking me, oh, if you do things with you and what will happen? I said, we don't have to worry about it. We are working for the people, so we had to have all the connections. We had to do all the work. If I just sit and meditate, I don't need any of this stuff. Yeah. So we have to concentrate ourselves when we are alone. We have to be celebrative when we are with the people. Celebrative, I said celebrative. Because each moment is precious for us. So we had to acknowledge, oh, I got a beautiful life. Even though we go through really hard time in our life, we had to acknowledge we are still alive, still we can breathe. That's a big thing now. So we had to celebrate. That is my point of view.
May I ask a question over here? People say the Buddhists don't believe in God and it's agnostic or this and that and all that situation. What does that really mean? I don't quite understand when they talk about that. Any ideas?
Look at this way. We have thousands of God and goddesses in Hinduism, right? And same people are talking about Trinity. Christianity also talk about Trinity. Then it's end up in the yin and yang, female and the male, and come to the Ardhanarishwar, male and female together as one God. That's Hindu philosophy. But people won't go with the one God because they need activities. Otherwise, they get bored. They will get trouble. When you look at the idea of God and goddesses, man created God and goddesses. People say, oh, it was there. From the beginning, it was there. So what is the creation of the universe? Who created? When created? If God created us, who created the God? I asked one question to my mother, who created God? And she was laughing. Our grandmaster, Narayana Guru, his student asked, where's the God? He took a mirror and showed to him, look at this. This is the God. That person seeing their own image. So if we cannot act in a godliness, God never exists. In Hinduism, when you go to the Tarka Shastra, you talk about the God, then you understand, you are developing yourself, then you understand you are part of the universe with the 5 elements as equal like everyone. Then are we going to think about God who is sitting upstairs in the sky? God is everywhere, right? And God don't have a form or a name or a smell or anything. So what is you? God means to go to the concept of the energy in the level, more than a human being. The idea of the God creation in the human form is a Maya itself. If you don't have something to think, then you won't get the concentration to think. Then you have a sculpture, you look at, then you feel you are doing it. And the later stage, no, this is not the God. Because you are going to the progressive movement, Then you reach, where is the God? God is everywhere, and where to focus. You don't have the focusing point. That means you had to bring your consciousness to the universal star. You are synchronizing with the universe. That state is the God. It is not a human being or an animal. If you say there's a human being, means there's a wrong teaching. This is a state of consciousness. We are the part of the universe. We are made of the universe. We are the universe. That part will bring the oneness of the world, holiness. But we are not acting like I am the God, I am going to control. That's not it.
Yeah. Guruji, there's not only universe, there are multiverses.
Universe, we think about this as a universe. We don't know after our imagination. There's no limit for this. You know?
We have a saying, we say Unsung Vaheguru, which is in every fiber of my being, God is. Every cell, every part of me is God. God is Unsung Vaheguru.
Yes, and that's what it means. But we also have that Akash, Patala Patala Kakasha Akash. ओड कोड पाल थके वेद कहने के बाद 18 कहन कदे बांस लिखता लिखा हो ता लिखिया लिखा हो विनाश नानक वड्डा आखिया पे जाने आप. You want to say something on that, Kulvinder Singh?
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. Sir, Patala Patalak Agasa Agas. It's these are the lines from Japji Sahib, the very first Bani which the first Guru Nanak recited. So he says, as we were talking about universe and multiverse, it is the topic on the same. He says, Patala Patalak Agasa Agas. Lakh means 1/10 of a million. Agasa Agas means billions, trillions, and beyond that, infinite. Agasa Agas, Od Kod Pal Thake Ved Kahanik Baat. Whichsoever religious granths they are available, what they say, if they try to find the end, there is no end. There's no end, and it is beyond writing. If there is, it can't be written. Sas 18 Kahan Kateba Asul Iktat. Lekha hoye ta likhiye. It is beyond writing. It cannot be written. Lekhe hoye vinas. One who writes, one who tries to write, one who tries to pen down. The words will not end. The explanation will not end. The person may end. Nanak vadda akhiye appe jane aap. So what we are to do? As we are discussing, no doubt discussion is very, very important part. But discussion too is not the final stage. It is we are own way. We are own way. It's not the destination discussion. So because discussion is with the mind. Yes.
The creation is limitless.
Limitless. That the last line is Nanak vadda akhiye. In the last line, it's the conclusion. So Guru Nanak says, he says, Nanak vadda akhiye. We just have to say he is great. That's enough. And yes, everything comes within great. Nanak vadda akhiye appe jane aap. He knows himself how vast he is. We didn't know his vastness. We needn't know his vastness.
Yeah.
Nor we can.
But Esa, what do you think about this Paudi Akasha Akash and the Hubble, experimentation where Carl Sagan and the other discoveries they talk about planets, so many planets, and then so many galaxies and stuff like that. Any ideas on that? Are you able to hear? Unmute yourself.
Oh, yes. Okay. First of all, Sat Sri Akal, Pranam. Very also very Fateh, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. And also today is Buddha Purnima. That's Gautama Buddha's birth anniversary. So I congratulate all of you because those gurus are for all humanity. They are not limited to any one religion. So I think it's a generic greeting I want to convey to all of you. And also it is the birth of Guru Amar Das, the third guru of Sikh lineage. Now the question Dr. Sahib asked me is about the Lakh Akasa Akas. You see, Japji Sahib is a survey of the existing thought processes of religious streams and addressing those different ways of thinking. Guru Nanak addressed those because people, as Guruji also said, people think, oh, God lives somewhere on the seventh sky, and that's where is everything is, that's where the heaven is, that's where we have to go. Or they all point to some different location in the universe. So as Dr. Gurvinder Singh just said, Guru Nanak said there's no 7th or 10th or 11th sky, the limitless skies, different galaxies. No human being can even comprehend the limit to the Creator. The Creator itself is a cosmic consciousness, as Guruji just said. You may say different words, different languages, but that's what the fundamental idea is, that people have tried to define God in some limited way. So Guru Sahib has tried to undo that thinking, to change that thinking, to believe that the so-called God, whichever way you believe it, Guru Nanak Sahib never called him a God. It is beyond human comprehension, it's limitless, it is timeless, there is no time boundary. If somebody you think is a creator, then the creator has to exist before the creation. So if time comes with the creation, there was no clock before that. So he becomes timeless. Nobody can ever comprehend. So referring to various akars and the skies and universes is only a metaphoric way of explaining the limitlessness of that being. We call him consciousness, we call him awareness, we call him God. It's various languages. So this is my understanding.
Thank you. Pete? Oh, yes.
Thank you for that. One of the things I love about joining these sessions and every other session is people express ideas so much more articulately than I feel I can in many times. And that was a perfect example of the limitlessness and a way to express that, and talking in terms of the creation of time and being before that and so on. It's beautiful, beautiful. So that's all I have right now. I'm just kind of taking it in.
Yes, Simran Kaunji, please go ahead.
Yeah, if I may, I'll just share a few passages that I always do research. And a word, I was searching for a word, which is sohong. And so I did a whole research on that word in the Sikh scriptures, and I'll just read a few. And I'll just read it in English. So it's Kabir, actually. Kabir, we have many writers in the Sikh scriptures. And so this is from Kabir-ji. So it says, know that he is in the universe and in the body as well. Take your cleansing bath in the Mansarovar lake. Chant Soham, he is me. He is not affected by either virtue or vice. And also Guru Nanak says, oh Nanak, chant the chant of Sohang Hansa. He is me and I am him. The three worlds are absorbed in him. So there's this idea again, it's I am he and he is me. The essence, the immaculate Lord, the light of all. I am he and he is me. There is no difference between us. So these are just a few passages that with that word that I've researched.
That's beautiful. There's also said tuhi, we sometimes say, and there's a Shabad by Bhagavad Ravdas ji. Ravdas is another author in Guru Granth Sahib, where he says, Tori Mori, what is that?
Tuhi mohi, mohi
yes,
tuhi.
mohi tohi antar kaisa.
Yeah. Tohi mohi antar kaisa. You are me, I'm you. What is the difference? He says, Bhagavad Ravdas.
Right.
Which is beautiful Shabad, often sung in the Gurdwaras.
Yes, may I also add here what Simran Kaunji just said? Guruvani says, "Ay man tu jyot swarup hai, apna mool pehchan."
Mool pehchan, right.
Yes. If me being, you are the part of that great source. Recognize your source. Like a ray, the sun ray is the source is the sun. A droplet of water, the source is from ocean. So you are a part of it. Ocean is in the drop of water, and the drop is in the ocean. So there's no difference. And that's all over what they have said. Everything is from Guru Vani, Guru Nanak's thought process. That
And-
so they also say Aham Brahmasmi. That's
Yes.
what Vedas say. I am a part of the Brahma. So
And the
that's how-
same thing is this from the south. There's a Bhagat Pipa whose Shabas are also included in Guru Granth Sahib, and he said, "Jo Brahmande soi pende jo khoja subhav."
yes.
Whatever is in the Brahman, whatever is in the whole large creation, limitless creation, that's also within our body too. Like a macrocosm into microcosm and vice versa. That's what they're talking about. But it only is such an abstract concept, but it's only through thinking carefully we can comprehend that idea. What's your opinion, Guruji?
Hello.
Everything connected.
सत श्री अकाल, मैंने आपको एक टेक्स्ट मैसेज भेजा है अभी आपको. आप एक मीटिंग ज्वाइन करिए.
So everything connected. And we cannot differentiate easily. The thing I always think, we all are traveling without any break. One state to another state. One place to another place. We are beyond of any of this thought process. We cannot imagine because still we are in a frog in a well, you know. We don't know the entire universe. When we start to travel, then we'll see, yeah, we are in the great space, you know. We're still stuck in our place, you know.
Everything is moving, but we don't realize that we are moving in relation to each other and all.
We are limited.
Yes. Another example is if you look at the globe, for example, within our small world, 2/3 is water and 1/3 is the solid part. See how the water, how this is supported, what kind of energies and forces and all that keeps it together and going. It's all amazing. Huh?
Most probably we don't know the real science of
Yes.
Earth itself. You know? We imagine this, maybe this will be, all the theory will come, and theory can change anytime.
Yeah, that's right. They're evolving all the time.
Full-fledged scientists. We pretend we are the scientists, but we are not.
Yeah, exactly.
That's back to your comments, Guruji, about when it's in need, when things are in need of updating, we need to update them. We need to actually recognize it and then update.
Yeah, exactly.
I always say we have to remove outdated ideas and update ourselves.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a evolving spirituality. What do you think, Kamla?
I was thinking about Buddha. Back to the original God Buddha question. My understanding in Buddhism is not so much that a Buddhist would say they don't believe in God. It's more like it's not relevant. Like in the sutra where the person is shot with an arrow. Remember that sutra in the back? I'm vaguely remembering it. And the Buddha instructs, basically you can sit there and go, why was I struck by this arrow? Who shot me with this arrow? Why? Or you could just like get the arrow out of your back. And that's a metaphor for how they is very pragmatic in the, you know, what is now. And Sikhi has a lot of this too, is a very now place to be. Maybe I think the cosmic consciousness, unified consciousness gets us back into this now, that we'll think about God later, in a sense that will deal with the issues that we have now, and that is a spiritual path. And even though 6 do believe, tell me if I'm wrong, I'm in a room full of 6, so I'll get it. But though 6 do believe that God is within and God is without, we also have to deal with what are the 5 thieves that can't, you can't just like,
That's Maya.
you can't wander around going, I'm God. Yeah. Me. You have to deal with what 6 call the 5 thieves, which are our sexual obsessions, our greed, our pride, like hubris, and so egotism, our attachments, addictions, and I'm leaving out one. That's always the one I need to think about.
Ego.
Attach. What?
Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Hankar, greed.
Yeah.
Greed.
Well, and greed. Oh yeah.
Anger.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Membership, yeah.
and
So
I tend to think of those as our primate, that are primate, we're primates, so we have to deal with our primate nature before we actually, and that can only be done in Sikhi by grace.
yes.
So there's nothing actually you can do to deal. This is part of being human. But as you connect with the divine, or as by grace, the divine will help us with these things. Which is like why the 12-step program works, is that the first step is people decide to surrender to in that case, they call it a higher power. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's what I say.
Yeah, no, that's good. That is good. We're all getting mixing things together to come that this is a reality, is a mystery, and which is undescribable. But we look at it different ways. Like they give example that 5 blindfolded people, they are asked to look at an object and see what it is. They describe whatever they can feel and all. When at the end, when the blindfolds are removed, they see, well, this is the same object, but we describe it in a different way. Isn't that kind of story, Guruji?
Yeah, it is.
Somewhere.
That's the thing. Somebody was asking me importance of yoga. Why did you get a special status at the UN? So I said, why did you ask that question? I'm special. This is I'm special. Another person said, because of your ego. I said, ego make me sustainable. Yes, because sometimes we have the individuality, so we have to keep that individuality to stand ourselves. Otherwise, you will become like a water. You will just flow. You cannot stand. So sometimes we have to talk like this, So,
I think Jasveer has something to contribute here. And
unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself. Unmute.
Yes, Guruji just said, my ego keeps me sustainable. That's extremely important. Yes, but I like to right now take this moment to introduce a friend of mine, Mr. Brajendra Singh. He's in the meeting. He's visiting from India. I like him to unmute and show his video and say his word about Buddha today.
Where is he?
He's in the.
He's not here in the meeting.
No, he's here. Birendra.
Birendra Best. Oh, he's talking about Birendra Best.
No. Sorry, mistake.
Yeah,
Birendra
here
Singh.
he is. Birendra, unmute yourself. Birendra, unmute yourself. Yeah, there he is.
Hello,
No,
Birendra.
Birendra is different, but I think he's still
Hello,
not able
Peter.
to join.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Guruji.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Dr. Kripal.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm
Welcome.
fine.
You have a videos you like to show?
No, not him.
Not him? Okay.
Another person from Dileepji.
Okay.
He's a different person. I think he has
Yeah.
difficulty.
Call him to join.
I will join. Yeah, I gave him the address, but
Okay.
he's not. Okay.
So, Brindra, we're talking about limitlessness and Buddhas, which comes from your area, Nepal. He's from Nepal, Brindra. So,
Yeah, this
share
is
with us your
today.
experiences about Buddhism and Buddha.
Actually, yeah, I'd probably say Buddha is a teacher,
Yeah,
philosopher, and
उसके लिए
spiritual
जान कर दे।
leader.
नहीं
Am I
नहीं
audible?
Yeah, you can speak.
Go ahead, Brenda.
Okay, yeah. So growing up, as a child, I was taught about, Buddhism, right? In our class, uh, our teachers and, my seniors, they were quite aware of, Buddhism and Buddha, right? So uh, actually, he left the palace, right? For the search of peace.
Mhm.
He had so many things, right? Happiness was there at palace, properties were there, but he did not like those things. And he left for the sorts of peace, and people were suffering, uh, you know sadness, so he started changing his mind and finding the real path for peace around the world. So I was really lucky when I heard the story of Buddha. And so people are following Buddhism, but I love the philosophical idea given by Buddha, and the foundation maintained by Buddha, right? For every human being around the world. So particularly for me, I'm a peace lover, and I'm really grateful to Buddha and his pivotal role around the world. So because of him, people are, I think there are people, but this is quite divided world, right? But I still believe that we want peace, and we want harmony, and we want solidarity from every human beings to another human being. So thank you so much, right, for sharing me about Buddha, right? So I proudly say, and I claim, actually there is debate going on where Buddha was born. So actually he was born in Lumbini, right? So I think it's a lot of debate, right? Where Buddha was born. So he was born in Nepal, Lumbini. Guruji.
Yes.
Yeah, Lumbini, he born in Lumbini. Lumbini is a border of India and Nepal. So India cannot claim Buddha born in India. It's very hard. Unless they had to prove it, So
Mhm.
they had to go through archaeology and all the stuff, then prove it. That's fine. But he left his body, that was in India. Yeah. According
Yeah,
to
What's
true.
important
True.
is his message, not where he was born or where
Oh,
he died. But
argue for the where born, birth, what he made it, it won't work out. What he taught us, what we can practice.
That's what's important.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
that's the point.
interesting thing is that all these great prophets, wherever they were born, nobody really knows them in their hometowns, and their teachings are all around the world, but not in their hometown. Look at Guru Nanak. He was born in Nankana Sahib. That's not where the most Sikhs live. Jesus Christ was born in somewhere in the Middle East, and that's not where most of his followers are. Same way about Buddha and same about other things. It's amazing. Huh?
So some years back, somebody asked me a question. I know that person want to make fun of me. That's the way they ask question. Where are you from? I just look at his face. I understood he's going to select for me. I said, I'm from the universe.
That was a good answer.
From the universe. What he can say something.
That was a good answer.
So when we think we are from the universe, there's no division there.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, all these divisions, they're all, nationality. Look at Ottoman Empire and all those kind of things. They all keep changing. When you look at the ancient empires, all they come and go and all. Everything is a change. That's what when Buddha says, I'm awake, he's awake to the change, that no matter what you do, it's just keep changing. So what does that mean? Better follow, look at the divine order. And surrender yourself to the hukam instead of being attached to anything. They're all temporary and transitory. The only thing reality is what we cannot describe.
I'd like to translate that a little bit. Hukam means command or God's will, probably if you're not familiar with Sikhi, God's will. Hukam, command of the divine.
Yes, it can be translated that command or divine order, or the way the natural processes take place under that power which we do not know. Like example, sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and all the natural resources we have. What governs and operates and keeps them renewing and going on and on and on, even within our own, how our heart works, our intestinal system, gastrointestinal and nervous system, all that is amazing. Well, the more we think, the more we become sort of, amazed about the situation. And that's what God is all about to me.
May I say a few words?
Yes.
Yes. Idea came to me as we were talking about East and West. Now, what is East and what is West? There is nothing like East and nothing like West. My West is East for some other country. Actually, sun never stops. Sun is doing its revolution, Earth is doing its own, right? So there is balance. These things we have defined just to understand at our level. Same way as my brother, he said, we define God in the context we know, at the level we can speak, with the words we just have. But our words, our language is not made with context to God. So we have to find new and newer words. As Dr. Kripal Singh ji was saying, ke tohi, mohi, mohi tohi antar kaisa. Tohi means you, yourself, and mohi means myself. What is the difference? So there is another word in Gurbani. Again, as Guruji said, we are finding new words to explain the meaning, but there will be no final word. The meaning has to be caught at the soul level. The tongue, it can never give the meaning. So there is another word, it is aap. The line is aap karta, aap bhugta, aap is himself. And now I will say himself, but I can address myself as aap. I can address you all by aap. But aap is such a word in which we are all included, even myself is included. We say, let us do this thing, us. So aap means us. Aap karta, aap bhugta, aap karan kiya. So aap is a common word which speaks both of you and me. Second thing.
Yes.
Yes, as the lines were given, a question arose, did Buddha say that there is no God in the other universe? No? Actually, these questions, even what Buddha said, even a yogi will not understand the meaning of that till he attains the level of Buddha, the state of mind in which Buddha recited those words. So what I mean to say, what my message is, whenever, as we are talking about the birthplace of Buddha, we talk at our level. We see Buddha, I see Buddha at my level. So what my level is, if I have a divisive thought, I will see Buddha with that eye.
Yes.
So, yes. So what is actually my message is, whenever we discuss these godly beings, whenever we discuss these prophets, not only we are short of word, we are short of imagination too. We cannot imagine them till we attain the stage where they were. Gurbani In Guru Granth Sahib, I read one word. I would like to share that with you. It says, Nanak karte ki mit karta jane, keh jane gur sura. Only God knows what God is. Or it is only the prophet who knows that. But we shouldn't take that to mean that we are debarred from that. We have to follow the prophet in whichever religion, in whichever school we are. If we follow the steps of our prophet, then we are bound to get him one today or tomorrow.
Good. So whatever, thank you. Whatever is, no one knows, it's a mysterious thing. But when you follow the advice of your teacher, it provides you a kind of a traveling map. And as you go on it, and then you reach the summit. And that's what in the end of Japji Sahib, which is the first book of Guru Granth Sahib, and which is a synopsis of Guru Granth Sahib, is the 5 stages described at the end. First is called Dharam Khand, which means whatever the prevailing situation is, day and night, and karma philosophy and all those things. And then comes and your action determine your status in life. And then is the Gyan Khand, where you start questioning back and forth, you find it's all infinite. Multiple sun, multiple universes, and multiple everything. And then comes the Saram Khand stage, when now quit chattering and talking about it, focus inside, and try to, through meditational process, try to access what we are talking about for a greater wisdom. And that's how our mind is then intellected, chiseled into like the state of Buddha we talking about. And from there, then not only just attain that state, now it's time for you to act, use your knowledge to help in the world to bring about the welfare of each one concerned. And that's the stage of called Karam Khand. That's where people from all over, all prophets, everyone is included, all the Bhagats and all who act upon those things to help improve the human condition, the creation and all, where we become co-partners in taking care of natural resources and the perpetuation of life. As we go on travel, then we become one with the ultimate reality, which is called Sachkhanda, the truth, or whatever name you want to give it, or Sat, and the word Satnam comes. And as you become part of it, and you just merge into it, like a drop of water merging into the ocean, which is called Nirvana, also in the state of in Buddha, and other different kind of names. And for that, we don't have to die to attain it. We attain it right within our own life. And that thing is the quest for that truth and progression into that line. And your guru helps to facilitate that. Still, you have to do the work. The guru can guide you into those things. But the guru's grace, and above all, the creator's grace, is the one which helps you to finally attain to that status. That's called the Sachkhand state. But to describe all this, Guru Nanak says, it's like chewing iron. It's so difficult, it's just not possible. And those are the 5 stages mentioned in how evolution from the individual consciousness into the cosmic consciousness, and that all this is a cosmic play in which, creator is the player, he's the one enjoying, he's doing all these things. And it's all, what we say, thou art, tu hi in Punjabi. That's the summary of the last part of Japji Sahib. Anyone like to add anything else? Gurvinder Singh, Jasveer Singh, or Simran?
Yes, may I speak, sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, as during the discussion and during our last discussion, there was a word about what yoga was described by Swami Vivekananda. Okay? So, dear brother told us that Swami Vivekananda told there is yoga of meditation, then there is yoga of music, singing, right? Then there is yoga of knowledge, and then there is yoga of action. But along with, I want to share one thing. As just in the discussion, we are talking about the dogma of the church. Right? So, as per the perspective, I would like to equate the religious path with the education, with the worldly studies we do. So I will say, I will use the word yoga, but it will not mean only for the yoga people. It will mean relate to all the religions. To sum up, if we club all the religions and how they start and how they guide us. So as a yogi, I will say, a person begins with the yoga of robes. Once I wear a robe pertaining to my religion, maybe a yoga or any other religion, it doesn't matter which robe we are wearing. Once I wear a robe, I declare that now I have joined the school. And in other words, I will say, by wearing a robe, I put myself to scrutiny of others. And I declare too that I have joined this class, and if my past does not match with this, so it must be assumed now that past is past. That's gone. So when we begin with yoga of robes, robes have their importance. It too is a class, no doubt the initial most. Then there becomes yoga of action, as we do exercise. This is the second part. Then there becomes yoga of knowledge, third part. Then there comes yoga of, we say, meditation. And ultimate is the yoga of merger, when we merge. So I'm using the word yoga, but it pertains to every religion. Why I'm using these words? Just to explain that in every religion, even the rituals, they have their importance to some extent. To at the initial stages, to the beginners, it has the importance. So their importance cannot be altogether neglected, but to stay only with the robes, on only with a one stage, then there is another message that you have to shift over to the next stage. So why I put these words, just to explain the Swami Vivekananda ji, the classes he explained the higher stages of yoga. They're all the higher stages. So I just tried to begin with the initial most stage. The wearing a robe too is important but we are not to end with the same stage. We have to improve with time to time. Our classes must shift. As when I was young, I was just proud of my dress in the primary level. My mother prepared me for to go to school, and the teacher patted me. Very good, very good. Teacher knew that my best, I haven't pressed aren't on it, but he just to encourage.
Yes.
So what my request, yes, what my request is, what my message is, every stage has its importance. It cannot be undermined.
Yeah.
That's all.
So that's where the unity is through diversity. Different diverse systems, they eventually merge into the same thing.
Right.
What is your opinion, Guruji?
So Swami Vivekananda wrote in his Sangraha, there's a book, compiled with all the knowledge, in that he wrote Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Raja Yoga. Karma Yoga, you do the work, selfless service to all the areas where you do the work, and you attain the state of Samadhi state. Then for the Jnana, you get the knowledge. You educate yourself, you get in the state, like a scientist, and they go to the deeper state of Samadhi. Then they go to the Bhakti Yoga. The people don't know the language. They cannot understand things, but they have the love towards the God and towards serving. That is different jnana. For the Bhakti, they have this devotion, and they attain the status of Samadhi. The last part is the Raja Yoga. That's very hard to practice because you have to do some exercise. 8 steps of Raja Yoga is called Ashtanga Yoga. Yama, Nema, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, 8 steps, right? And you had to go through the steps. If you don't have any principles, you became a big guru, there's no point of it. You had to keep the principles, you know. That's the part we go with the families, values, you know, moralities, all the stuff. And we had to do exercise. That's why the universe gave us this body to use it. Don't sit at home and not doing anything, you know. So you had to be active. Like when you do more things with your body, it will get more flexibility. So that's why you do the asanas, exercise and all the stuff, and the breathing we practice, you know, and body will cleanse. When body is easy to move according to the structure, then the prana will flow, right?
Yes.
Prana start flowing, it will give extra boost to the mind to think about all the stuff. If body is not fit, we are not able to think. So always we say, a healthy body is in the mind, a healthy mind is in the body, create a healthy spirit or a soul. Otherwise it won't happen. Of course, we need a blessing from the past. Our parents give us chromosome, you know, it already had recordings. And sometimes we don't know it's a good recording, sometimes it's bad recordings. So we had to remove, unwind these bad recordings. That's a lot of work. That's why we go to the rituals and all the stuff. That's only dharana. When you go to a temple or any type of spiritual places, go and pray, that's only a dharana. And the part of samadhi state, we don't need any sculptures. It's very clearly mentioned on this one. But we need the sculptures in the beginning part. Then you get out from this, you know. Then you go. So this attire is good to show a little fun in the society. We don't need any attire. Look at any dogs or cats. Are they wearing an attire? Are they spiritual? Yes, they are spiritual. Yeah, they are better than human beings because they, when they are hungry, they eat food. They, you know, go and get the food. But human beings are not like this. I am full, still I want to eat. I want to eat other people's food. I don't want others to eat the food. You know,
Greedy.
this is,
Yeah.
that's why we all have this conflicts around the world, because we are comfortable. We don't want other people to become comfortable.
Yes.
You know,
Guruji, I have a question from my own experience. I did hospice care work for like 20 years of my life. And so I watched many people die. And one thing I learned from that surprised me is a lot of times the people who were most healthy, or many people who were the most healthy and fit, of course, when you're dying, everybody is not healthy and fit. They're dying, right? That many times they had very difficult deaths. Not all the time, of course. And I had lots of situations where you had the diabetic, overweight grandmother who would die and the lights would come on, and the if you've ever been at a birth or a death, you know what I'm talking about. The door would open and the lights would come on. They'd be talking to you know, angels or whatever. So I don't necessarily associate whether we are physically fit. Obviously, we all want to be physically fit. It's best for us, but I don't necessarily associate it with grace. I kind of feel like people's bodies are their own. Well, if you're not fit, that's going to hurt you, but it doesn't really hurt others. So what do you say about that?
this is a question I'd say, because for my personal life, I started yoga when I was little. I was in sports and games for 25 years, representing university, school, and college. So I know what is the importance of exercise, and I was a martial artist. I do all the heavy duty stuff, you know. But I was fit, still I am fit because of my old practice. And I tried to keep it healthy food from the beginning. I ate non-vegetarian once in a week. not more than that. But when we practice more sadhanas, we avoid all of this stuff. Even spices, no sugar, no salt. That's the way we are, Okay, somebody want to eat, enjoy, fine. That's their own choice. If they want to be easygoing without any difficulty in the body and consuming our entire time as a productive, we had to be physically healthy. Otherwise, it will bother our mind. Some people are physically healthy, but their minds are not fit. That's a psychological part. We don't know what trauma they went through it. That may affect. When we look at the person is great. But when we have this healthy way of living style for the body and the mind, they are more productive. The production, that's the part I'm looking, the production of a person's life and the time. Look at the Jesus. The production of his time is great. 33 years, he did big change around the globe. Shankaracharya, they left his body before 35. It was productive. Actually, he's the person who unify all the Hindu teachings. No one else. Vedas are this a lot of dramas with this, but he did the work. When you look at so many great beings came to this world and they did extra work without heavy consumption of food or any other material possessions. They stay away from. I'm not blaming people, those who are heavy or anything. No, that's their life. Nothing to do with me. I'm talking about my experience. When you eat healthy food, you make excretion which is supposed to be as it is. A lot of time people just use AC and they stop the excretion of sweat. People won't go to toilet on time. They hold it and it will create a problem in their body. Spitting, all the stuff. People smoke, take drugs, alcohol and everything. They destroy the body. This is not supposed to happen. Have you ever seen any of the animal going, having a drink? Yeah, man, I cannot talk here. No. They're healthy. When they're hungry, they eat.
Oh my God.
So we use our facilities not for our healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, that's true. Like you mentioned that Jesus, the same way that Guru Gobind Singh only lived for 42 years and accomplished so much. And the freedom of India really is, when we look at it, owes to him, his suffering and creation and sacrifices. Jasveer Singh wants to say something, looks like.
Guruji, I just want to, also acknowledge what you're saying. And I mean, it's my personal experience as well. Every day I do my yoga. It's like, I include meditation, so it's body, mind, and soul. And if I miss a day or a few days for whatever reason, well, I feel it, it's like, so you really realize how the body needs to be fit, needs to be stretched, needs to be not only physically stretched, mentally stretched as well. So it's it's changed my life, that's for sure. Plus also all the, the wisdom that I receive from the Sikh writings, but even from other, saints and spiritual teachers. There's so much in the world, that it's like food, not only food for the soul, Anyway, I just wanted to share that. And then I if I can share just, wanted to share a few words about yoga in the Sikh scriptures. And it says, this is Guru Nanak who says this: see the brotherhood of all mankind as the highest order of yogis. Conquer your own mind and conquer the world. Again, it's like working on the, on that spiritual, but on the mind, and also through yoga and meditation, it's about controlling the mind. He also says, remaining unblemished in the midst of filth of the world. This is the way to attain yoga. So it's talking about, being able to come to that place of equanimity, of peace. And that is done, through the yoga, through taking care of your body, controlling, like you said, what you eat, what you take in, even the words that you take in, also what you give. So it's all that. And I'll share just a few other lines. Is how rare are those saints and great yogis who describe the beautiful form of the Lord. Blessed are they whom the Lord meets in his mercy. They know that he is deep within and outside as well. Their doubts are dispelled. So it just talks about the saints and the yogis, but it talks again what we were talking earlier about, God being within all. And also all yoga is in the name of the Lord. The body and the breath of life belong to him. We belong to God. God belongs to us. Where there's no separation, as I was saying earlier. Anyway, thank you. Satnam.
Thank you.
Like
Thank you.
if we want
Thank
to
you.
cleanse our body, so it's like a sewage. You go to the last part of the sewage, start cleaning, and come to the beginning. If you are not cleaning the last part, it will be a big movement will happen, So we don't want that to happen. So we do exercise and pranayama and the meditation process, plus the healthy food. It will cleanse the energy level more than the physical level. Physical level is there, but still the prana should flow properly. When prana flows properly, easy to communicate with the divine nature. That's
Yes,
the main part,
exactly.
I'll suggest every single child should learn physical exercise and the mental exercise to bring the pranic energy higher from the childhood. And that those children can create a big change in the conscious level in the world. That's a thing already recorded in the Ayurveda and Siddha. They mention about when a husband and wife want to have a child, they should have certain principles in their life, food habits and all that stuff, and have the copulation, get the child, take care of the pregnant lady, in very peaceful manner. And that happiness bring child happiness, and get the child, make sure mother is happy during the breastfeed time. Do not give other food. Breast milk is the best food or medicine for a child. There was a drama happened in the 60s and 70s. People don't want to give breast milk. So it's not good. It's not good thing for a child. They have this unnecessary dogma, and actually that is ignored. You look at any animal kingdom, breast milk is important for a child, but we won't give that one and end up so much milk consumption when we are older. We don't need any milk when we are old.
Yeah, Guruji, you remind me, I have a friend in LA from the Hare Krishna community, and I remember he told me before he the day to conceive, there was a whole preparation and I think meditation and something that he had to do before he would come with his wife to, in a sense, procreate. Anyway, I just remembered that story of my friend.
Just recently, you have something to say? You got your hand raised.
No, my hand was raised the last time, so let it go. But anyway, about the food, Guruji has said very correctly. Guru Nanak also has said, the Guruvani, Dr. Govinda said, you can quote exactly, do not eat that food which will hurt your body and corrupt your mind. Govinda Singh,
खाना खुशी ओ खाना खुशी
खुशी खुआर जित खादे तन पीड़िए मन में चले विकार Babahor khana kiसी को आप, yes.
Yeah, don't eat whatever hurts your body and also corrupts your mind. So whatever suits everybody is a different.
Yeah. There's a full shabad about that.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fruitful discussion, Guruji. I think we're running out of time.
So we have 4 more minutes.
Once again on yoga, as I mentioned last time, there are different thoughts on yoga, but according to Gurvani also, yoga is our union with the Supreme or the higher consciousness. So Patanjali is the father of yoga, and his very first sutra is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, meaning that the meaning of yoga is that you remove those vikaras from your mind to achieve that yoga. So vikar are all those passions, kam, krodh, lobh, ahankar, chasing maya, chase wealth, all that. So unless you are able to cleanse your mind from that, you can't achieve yoga. And Simran Kaurji said that man jeete jag jeet. Unless you conquer your mind, you can't conquer the whole world. So that's all about yoga. And Guru Nanak calls it the Sahaj Yoga. By reciting God's name, that's Nam Yoga, you achieve Sahaj Yoga. So there's different thoughts on it.
I use an analogy. We come from a state called Punjab. Punjab has 5 rivers. And those rivers are vigorous, which make the land very fertile. So these 5 thieves, or the 5 parts of Maya, they are really energies, the 5 energies, like the river water in Punjab. If you can put a dam on them and control the water and shift it in a proper way, it can lead to fertile crops and a better society and a good agrarian situation. Same way with the Gur Shabad. Like in Sikhism, we say Gurbani, Guru's Shabad, Guru Nanak Shabad, or in others we call Gurmantar or whatever situation. That helps us to produce those dams, help to dam our these by producing self-restraint, so that in our life, these so-called devastating aspects of our life are put into sublimation from the creative energies which we devote to the service of the society and help bring about the better human condition. This is the analogy I use. Thank you.
Well, and building on Kulvinder's comments before about how the prophets and the gurus help to guide us, that is teaching us how to use those shovels to make those canals.
Yes.
It reminds me of Anand Patoli's comments a few months ago that, in order to achieve that level of spiritual enlightenment, it doesn't happen without the guru.
Yes, that's why we say Guru Prasad, by the grace of the Guru, that takes place.
So now we have to fix a date.
Yes.
For yoga and Sikhism. What day is better? How is Friday 4th?
Friday 4th?
Yeah.
June 4th, you mean?
Correct.
Yeah, that should be what do you guys think? The one sitting over here. Yeah. For me, it's probably fine.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's okay.
June 4th.
I'll have peace lights on there. I have an appointment at 11, but peace lights will be on for sure.
10 to...
What time?
10 a.m.
Fine, yes.
To
10 a.m.
Up to 12, fine.
To me, it works always better. Your 12 noon works better for me.
Okay, so you said 10 a.m.?
Because 10 o'clock, there's a reason. We have students from Amity University. When they attend this program, they'll get credit.
Okay.
So
10 a.m.
10 a.m. on Friday, June 4th.
This is part of the whole yoga week, right?
Correct.
Yoga month.
Oh, yoga month. Whoa.
Yoga month.
So our topic is yoga and Sikhism.
Correct. So we had to focus on the yoga and the Sikhism, not going to the religious part, going to the spiritual part.
Spiritual part, right.
There's no dialogue against any government or political parties.
Correct.
Very important point for you. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
Kamala.
try and be there. I'll try and be there.
Yeah, Kamala, you want to say something? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that'll be good. We should focus on the spiritual aspect and
if
how it relates, like we did today.
If any other yoga teachers from the Sikhism, especially we need more females. If it is 5 speakers, males, we need 5 females. Make sure we have it.
Equal
Right.
representation. Yes.
Representation. Right.
Well, make sure Kamala and Simran, you are included. Do come
Okay, I'll try and be there.
and bring some other people.
Yeah, Kal Murad also and Charan Kaur also.
Yeah, Kalmurad will ask her to join too.
And
The
I
Bangla
just-
dance, please
just-
bring them. Bangla dance and some kirtan music.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do some showers, Simran, on that day.
Yes, yes. Yes.
Yeah, how about that? Do some showers on that.
I don't know. I'll
Must be.
have to see. I can
Yeah.
maybe chant, what the because I really love this chant of Sohong, Ong Sohong. So maybe I can just do like a chanting of that. Maybe I'll think about it. But also, it's like, Guruji, do you have any friends from the Buddhist community? Because I know you're all connected.
We have separate events for Buddhist community.
Okay, no, because I don't see anybody, so I'm thinking maybe I can invite some of my Buddhist friends.
Oh, just right on the Facebook, we have some of them there.
Okay, they just can't make it maybe.
Yes, one Shabad would I recommended Tuhi Tuhi, that Rasna Japti Tuhi Tuhi to you. We'll talk more about this, Simran.
Yes.
Make it a nice event. These are the things, all the videos will go to the UN and all the government.
Right.
So they'll feel good. Right?
Thank you.
Thank you. very much.
Blessings
Right.
to all. Peace,
Right,
love,
right.
and light.
Thank you.
I too will.
Thank you for the wonderful opportunity, Guruji, to discuss all this and
Thank you, Guru.
for your leadership.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gabriel.
Thanks.
Great.
Nice to be your part.